Well, hello to all the Web3 enthusiasts out there. This is Max speaking, and Synopsis is back after a short vacation. Uh, don't know if you guys missed us, but we decided to start it with one of our favorite speakers, one of the most charismatic and I would say positive people I ever met, not just here in Synopsis. So please welcome Jamie, CMO of Bitget Wallet. Hello,
I
Jamie. How
mean,
are you
Max,
today?
I'm very well. What an introduction that was. Thank you very much. I mean, we love coming on these podcasts and we love and value the work that you do. It's interesting actually, from all of the different podcasts and interviews that we've done, I would say like I've been sent yours probably the most. So it's credit to the work that you're doing, your community. Thank you very much to all of your kind of comments and kind comments from the back of it. So yeah, looking forward to the today's discussion.
Oh my God, what a pleasant beginning of working routine. So we have a bunch of questions for today and what to expect. So speaking to Bitget and Bitget Wallet representatives is always about some crazy numbers, crazy statistics, very positive view for the future. And of course, this all will happen today. But to begin with and to warm up a little bit, so a personal question for you, Jamie. So since it was like 4 months ago, we recorded our first episode, you just enrolled the role of CMO. So how is it going for these 4 months? How it feels? Is it challenging? Could you please tell a few words about it?
Yeah, I mean, thank you very much, and thank you very much for your kind well wishes when the announcement was made as well. Listen, I think it's been one of the hardest challenges I've had in my career to date. In the past, I was marketing director. I was still leading everything marketing, branding wise. But actually, the minute you put like a C title on there, I feel like the C clouds above you become darker, and then you're looking for the next breakthrough to try and make a change. I would say that the market conditions have been rather interesting. And what I would say is, the rebranding was hugely successful. We organically trended on Twitter, for example, twice, which was great and unexpected the second time, may I add. But the expectations then internally is you always want to improve, right? And that's the culture of which we try and embed into the team. Hey, we always want to make tomorrow better than yesterday. And when you set the bar so high, the internal expectations become different and difficult. So I think the main target now is managing internal expectations, making sure we align with our future vision, and actually continuing on our force of making crypto for everyone. So, in short, that means an awful lot of paracetamol to remove headaches, working exceptionally late and drinking a lot of coffee, and making sure that we try and double down our focus when it comes to our crypto for everyone vision.
Wow. Oh, yeah. Of course, this C in the title adds a certain level of challenges and pressure. But from what we see, you and your team are doing a great job. And this is one of the key aspects to discuss today. So if you don't mind, let's get straight to the action.
Of course, let's do it.
Well, let's start with some trend questions. So some say that 2025 is one of the most transformative years for Web3. How do you see crypto usage evolved in 2025, and what stood out to you about the way people are using wallets today?
Yeah, it's interesting that the way in which users perceive crypto and wallets has changed significantly. And I always like to have a bit of fun with my answers. So I'm going to say 2025 was the year that crypto became, wait for it, useful. And I'm going to say useful because stablecoins, they shaped the way in which the majority of builders right now, from a payment perspective, have now evolved their products. So now let's break it down. Stablecoins hit 12 trillion dollars worth of trading volume, providing users actually they frankly want speed. They don't want speculation. They just want the execution of the product they have in front of them. And frankly, wallets shifted on the back of this into everyday apps, for moving money, paying for everyday items, accessing digital services. If we take Bitget Wallet, for example, our emphasis on pay, whether that be scanning QR codes to now pay directly via stable coins for things like coffee. petrol or fuel for your car, groceries, whatever your everyday, essentials are, you can now settle that transaction directly in stablecoins. And I think that the emphasis on pay is definitely something I'm going to discuss a lot on this interview. But a lot of wallets, a lot of organizations and builders now are also doubling down on this. But if I was to kind of summarize, it would be Bitget Wallet, utility actions, whether you're sending, paying, or earning, it's actually growing faster right now than trading, which signals a lasting behavioral shift. Users frankly want something different. And let me just share something with you. Our stablecoin Earn Plus actually reached $80 million in TVL in 1 month. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. This shows users' activity.
Yeah, absolutely. And stable coins were one of the major narratives of 2025, and it's easily to see how many times you mentioned this word, like in a very first answer. So let's speak about it a little bit. So we've seen that stable coins surpassed Visa level settlement volume this year. And the question is, how did that change what users expect from wallets?
I mean, what an insane headline that is, by the way, Max, even as a question. Stablecoins surpassing Visa level settlement, which is just insane. We
Yeah.
talk about mass adoption, we talk about people that love the space. That's mind blowing. You think that's just crazy. So I think we should credit that. But actually, what this showed the whole world was that standards have actually reset. Users have stopped comparing wallets to exchanges. Now they're talking about wallets and crypto space to banks. This is showing you how far the space has come. Now, people now expect instant, borderless settlement as the baseline of an experience. They don't want to be waiting on Swift. Days, weeks, months, however long it takes you in traditional settings, send those assets. You can do it instantly in the Web3 space. Now, IMF data shows that stablecoin remittances can be 90% cheaper than bank wires. So expectations, are actually quite low, but predictable fees are non-negotiable. It sounds crazy saying expectations are quite low because when you think about traditional settings, and I want to give you an example, Maxim. I talk to my mum and dad, talk to my grandparents, whoever, and tell them like, oh yeah, I'll just fire some money over. Let's buy something at home, for example, or buy my niece a present. They're thinking, okay, I'll send you my IBAN, I'll send you this BIC code, whatever. No, I'll just give me a wallet address and like go and buy it in a different way. Try and be creative and getting people to adjust their mindset. You don't need to send it on a Monday and then go and buy it on a Friday. I'm going to send you that asset now. Go and buy it straight away. And I think that in its unique form, it might sound quirky, but actually it's an awesome utility. I think that it's interesting. As gas, as payments, as people are spending more, people want to interact efficiently and more safely than ever. I think we'll probably come on to gas a little bit later in today because gas is a huge topic within the space, especially when it comes to stable coins. But if I was to summarize, the way in which people pay and earn right now with stable coins is insane, and it's insane from a product and scalability. This is only just the start. There are so many individuals, users all around the world that have no idea that this product even exists. And when they finally realize, for me, this is going to form the next bull run.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the take that the expectations are quite low. So this shows that the industry is ready for at least some level of user-friendly design. And this is actually one of the key factors, in my opinion, for the mass adoption, because, for example, using some wallets like MetaMask for daily transactions, like back in 2024, 23, even still now, I feel some stress when I'm sending some money in this chains with all these gas costs and stuff. And this is what the wallets and actually Bitget Wallet does, making it easier, making it user friendly, and this is how Web3 and crypto transactions come into our everyday life, and that's one of the key factors, I would say, and one of the major contributions for the mass adoption. So yeah, respect for that. And since we mentioned that stable coins surpass Visa level settlement, another thing that was surpassed is 80 million users of Bitget Wallet in 2025. Could you please tell us how did your user base change this year, and who is the average Web3 user heading in 2026?
Yeah, I mean, it got to a point where we were making announcements. Hey, we've hit 40 million, 50, 60. And in the end, I was like, hey guys, we're not going to announce anything else now until we hit that 100 million. And hopefully, we're going to make that announcement very, very soon. For me,
No
these are
doubt
just
on this.
numbers. There's a story behind these numbers that means more. Mainstream users are no longer just traders. Developing that product, that service that really understands the needs of them is critical. And frankly, if I was to summarize that, it's a mobile first user using crypto for the first time, or maybe they're an experienced trader as global money. Now, 72% of new crypto adopters are under 35, which is insane, which is great. And if you look at traditional finance, these are the people that are screaming out for other alternatives. Like, this is the category, the age group, the people of which are the most vocal and outspoken. They want change. And I think Gen Z driving the payment solutions and cross-border usage is really going to shape the way in which not only us as an organization, but the space grows and develops. Just to be super clear, the strongest growth for us came in Southeast Asia, Africa, and LATAM. Now, these are regions where traditional finance is frankly slow or expensive. Now, our user insights actually align with this trend. We double down on what matters to users, and the data takes care of itself. Gen Z users in our ecosystems, they basically want to send, spend, and earn. If we can divine that and develop the best solution for Gen Z users, all users, but especially Gen Z in this example, then they're going to come to Bitget Wallet. And I think we've done a tremendous job of that. 2026 is the year of pay, and Bitget Wallet is the place to pay when you're using digital Web3 assets.
Oh, sounds like a great model. And speaking about the things that are behind all these wonderful statistics and crazy numbers, if you look back at Bitget Wallet's 2025 roadmap, which area ended up being most critical for adoption and why?
Yeah, I love this question because it makes you think back. I think very often in crypto, like one day feels like a week,
Yeah,
And if you asked me where we
totally.
were doing last week, it was crazy. The team worked exceptionally hard. Now, the biggest driver for me in 2025 was making on-chain payments feel like real financial products. And this isn't just some like cliche kind of terminology. This is connecting products to people. Now, stablecoin payments became industry breakouts in this use case. Global settlement volumes surpassing Visa, as you correctly said in a previous question. It basically signifies that users want faster, cheaper money movement. And there's no secret to that success. But actually, merchants and users compared crypto payments to TradFi, and whether that be card, QR payment, bank transfers, meaning that we had the complete on chain experience. It's no longer just a joke or a novelty saying, hey, well, TradFi does this, crypto does this. Actually, we encompass it all now on chain, and you have control of those assets at all times. Self-custodial nature of these traditional services was the big breakthrough in 2025. Our crypto cards are in 50 plus markets. Our national QR codes, we're working with national organizations to roll this out in the likes of Brazil. Pix was a great, fantastic initiative. If you don't know what that is, it's the ability to scan a QR code and pay directly to that merchant via stablecoins. Insane, an insane use case in your wallet right now. The ability to have an in-app lifestyle shop, whether you're in Africa, you're in Mexico, you now have the ability to directly bank transfer in our application. Now, the clearest adoption driver is understanding the needs of the user, being on the ground. I think in 2025, we became a very regional organization. We now have team members on the ground all around the world, holding small events, meet and greets, talking to users, and gaining valuable insights. As a marketer, as anybody in an organization, the more direct user feedback that you have, the better the end product is. And I think determining that and understanding that very early in 2025 led to an awful lot of success. But I will say, if you were to give you a score out of 1 to 10 in terms of where I think we can take this, I still think we're between 2 and 3. So that means if you're listening, you're one of our competitors. We still have seven or eight out there out of that mark out of 10 to hit. And I am very confident in 2026 that we're going to achieve that.
Awesome. Sounds really confident. And let's make one more look back and think about what happened. So in 2025, the payments saw huge real world traction. What did you learn from bringing Web3 payments into everyday commerce?
Yeah, I mean, I like this question in the sense of it comes back to the Web 2, Web 3 argument. Like users actually, they don't care Web 2, Web 3, all this jargon. They care about the best product that, frankly, they already use. Now, stable coins, they win. Let's just get that point out there. They win 100% of this argument because they offer real benefits against traditional rails. They're 5 to 20 times cheaper than global transfers and faster settlement. And this is stats not just by Jamie, the Schiller at Bitget Wallet. This is by the World Bank and IMF of 2025. These are facts backed up by huge corporations and organizations. And these big players validated this shift. You talk about MasterCard, Visa, Grab, PayPal all move deeper into stablecoin rails, signaling that, frankly, in 2026, users expect Web3 payments to match modern fintech standards. Now, it's interesting. Traditionally, users would benchmark crypto cards against Revolut, Wise, and their local bank cards. But the winner of all this, no matter who it is, delivers lower fees, faster settlement, and alongside transparency, user protection. And I think we've done a very good job of encompassing all of that with every part of material, not only marketing, the actual product. It's funny, if you were to speak to a lot of the product guys at Bitget Wallet, they would say, "Hey, Jamie, why haven't you told the world about this fantastic product that we've got?" So actually, as an organization, we don't actually do a very good job at times of signaling, "Hey, this is the true capability of what it is." And the reason for that is I want to keep the messaging very simple. If you want to trade, pay, or earn, Bitget Wallet is the place for you to come, and you'll have a great user experience. Oh, Max, I can't hear you at the moment. I don't know if you're speaking.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no worries, mate. No worries.
Explanation that happens. Yeah. So I said, yeah, wonderful call to action in the end of the previous answer. And although you might say that the traders are um, not maybe the average users anymore of the wallet, we still have to touch the topic of trading. And the question is, what changes did you see in on-chain trading this year, especially with the growth of perps and new asset types?
Yeah, I mean, it's really important. I think you should never forget where you came from. Wallets, of course, are a trading enabler, service provider, facilitator for every user, whether you're a beginner or advanced trader. Now, decentralized trading became very similar to centralized trading. This was thanks to the new class of, in brackets, purpose-built trading chains and real-world asset providers. Like chains like Hyperliquid, they redefine performance, pulling serious perp on-chain volume. I mean, the insane amount of volumes that came on chains are Hyperliquid reduced the gap between traditional, DEX and SEX latency. Layer twos, they hit as much as $1 billion worth of trading volume. Now, this was according to DeFi Llama, by the way. They make on-chain perps almost a mainstream format. If you think about the amount of money flowing through these platforms now, times are changing. Is that a signal of intention for 2026? I'm excited to see how that goes. But there's a really important point within this, and we talk about real world assets. Now, tokenized real world assets, sorry, they attracted capital flows. Now, these were typically seen in TradFi. Now, this added new liquidity pools and trading strategies, and we saw this many, many times within it. Now, at Bitget Wallet, we aggregated our DEX infrastructure, unified all of our fragmented liquidity pools, and we frankly let users trade across 130 chains with sex-like experience. And when we're talking about sex-like experience, we are talking about when I click something, it happens. Traditionally, wallets, the steps in which it took for users to execute things like trades or sending of an asset, it was too complicated. Now, if you want to send something in a wallet or you want to go, let me give you the best example here, Max. If I've got some Ethereum and I want to swap it to Solana, it takes 2 to 3 clicks. Traditionally, you're talking bridging, you're talking time spent, you're talking gas fees. Right now, we've removed all of those barriers of entry. You can do it in literally 2 to 3 clicks in the wallet and save money on gas. That is a sex experience because the sex traditionally, if I want to swap Ethereum to Solana, I'm paying a gas fee, but I'm doing it in 2 to 3 clicks. Now you can do that in wallets just exactly the same too.
Wow, that's a great example, and it's worth 1,000 words. One exact thing said, because it's the real pain of many traders and actually everyone in crypto. Because besides doing so many actions, you also lose a small amount of your assets for those transactions, and you don't get the equal number you just wanted to breach, and that's yeah, that's sick. Everyone, go and try it right now. And another big thing you just mentioned is real world assets, which was also a major trend in 2025. And for sure, it hit a new adoption curve this year. Could you please tell us what pulled users into RWAs this year?
Yeah, thanks for this question. I think it's important to note, RWAs were of huge significance and importance to users, but actually, that wasn't the secret to RWA's success, in my opinion. The success behind them was built from the infrastructure behind them, liquidity, and regulations finally allowing, which allowed the users to basically encompass RWAs. Now, RWAs rails, they actually matured. Now, tokenized treasuries hit 8.6 billion, which led asset managers like BlackRock, Franklin Templeton to issue tokenized funds and clear a framework in multiple regions, which actually reduced any uncertainty within the markets. Let's be super clear on this. Something that the crypto space does very well, especially the wallet space, is UX. Now, UX became familiar when it integrated into wallets. Now, you can go and trade RWAs just like any token in Bitget Wallet right now. And frankly, to summarize, that gives you 27 equity access and instant settlement without the need of brokers or any borders to go and trade these assets. Now, by integrating with Ondo, we support over 100 plus tokenized stocks, ETFs, gold, and RWA assets, which frankly is bloody awesome if you ask me, Max.
Awesome. So thank you. And well, I'm looking for through the list of questions we have, and I realize that it's a little bit too early for some New Year wishes, but still we're in the middle of Q4, so there will be more questions about making some summaries of what happened this year, and of course, continuing the topic of the major trends. So. Another big thing from 2025 is security, and it became mainstream topic for sure. And could you please tell us, how did Bitget Wallet approach self-custodial safety this year, and what still needs to improve industry-wide?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, Bitget Wallet, we take user security extremely, extremely seriously, and we make sure that we, treat this as a serious threat at all times. We treat it as a threat, and we want to educate our users, and we're constantly aware of those threats at all times. Now, the greatest risks to users today, it isn't actually the blockchain. It's human behavior. So security is kind of moved more to behavioral, not just technical. Technical, we've got locked off. We have some of the biggest, bravest minds in our back team, just basically hunting out these bad guys and girls from the space. Now, phishing and social engineers caused over $1.4 billion worth of losses in 2025. Now, this pushed the industry more into a hey, we need to kind of probably align from an educational point of view to probably align to say, hey, this is the hard line, this is the minimum standard required from a user's perspective to come and integrate themselves into digital asset space. You see this in some jurisdictions around the world. Some regulators now enforce this from a day-to-day measure. But security actually must be layered, whether it be product design, making sure that it's more easy on the eye, more clear, safer signaling, and guidance. So I'm talking about warnings, user education in app that matters at the right time. So if you're sending money to a new wallet address you've not transacted with, you may get a pop up, hey, hey Jamie, what are you doing? Do you know this person? Are you sending this money? Like, like exactly, like just giving you that little bit of a, hey, something's not quite right here, or have you checked what you're doing? But actually ensuring that, users get it in a language that matters. If I was to say and send a pop-up notification to you, Max, with a load of back-end dev talk about a wallet address, you're probably thinking, the hell is this app talking about? Where actually, if you can just say you have not transacted with this address before, there are concerns. Same with the chart analysis. If you look across our meme scan product, it gives insights that are unknown within the space. I can go on there now and load up meme scan and I can get the following insight. So say I'm scrolling through my phone, I'm looking for the next meme coin to purchase, and I think I'll click on it and I'm just looking at it and I say, okay, this developer has launched 2,400 projects and 2,300 of them have been rugs. This is the detail of which the analytics brings us within MemeScan. It gets better though. It'll tell me the top 10 holders, what percentage of tokens that they have. Have they sold them? Are they holding them? It will tell me how many percentage of actual total supply the dev wallet or connections to the dev wallet have bought or sold. So the insights in wallet matter and we summarize them very well, actually at your fingertips at all times.
Wow. So thank you. Pretty detailed and a very interesting approach, I would say. And we got to maybe learn a little bit more on my end about it later. And how many trends did this year bring, and how many of them did we discuss? So stable coins, RWAs, security. Let's skip memes, I think, and get straight to the main thing that happened this year, actually AI and AI agents. So not putting too much attention, but still at least one question about it. So AI agents and programmable transactions gained momentum this year. Do you see AI becoming real, a real part of how people manage money on chain in 2026, or maybe it's a little bit too early for that?
Yeah, I mean, next time we speak, Max, I might send AI Jamie and see how that gets on. I mean, on a serious note, I think, it's important. AI will not replace human decisions, and especially not financial decisions. But I do believe that 80% of the manual work behind them probably will. 70% of global users are open to AI assisted financial tasks. And that actually sets expectations, that financial applications should actually feel intelligent and not passive. AI, frankly, it assists us in many, many ways, whether it be generating insights, trading signals, and frankly, risk alerts. There are many positives, there are many negatives that we can use when it comes to AI technology. But actually, at Bitget Wallet, we have already provided AI-driven token analysis in app. That encompasses smart alerts and soon deeper agentic automation, which I cannot wait for the rollout. This is always paired with self-custody of guardrails, which frankly, it gives the users full control of their assets, which ultimately is the most important part of this. If I was to summarize here, I think it is important to summarize this point. When we look at the way in which AI is being used and utilized within the Web3 space, it's interesting. As Jamie, as a trader, take my CMO hat off for 2 minutes. The insights and detail it gives me sometimes does not provide context. What it does do is it helps me with categorization. If I'm looking at meme coins that are perhaps trending on, say, social media, or I've got my specific set of metrics of which I would like to maybe do research on, but I don't quite have time to. AI is a great use tool for this. And here's a real example of how I have used it. So in Bitget Wallet, we have categorization of meme coins. And I'm going to come back to meme coins because AI has filtered this. So, say, for example, I don't know, Donald Trump has announced today on Twitter he's got a new dog. And all of a sudden, there's like 30 new dog tokens that have been released. And I've got no idea what this dog's called. So, I'm going to go and I'm going to say, hey, ChatGPT, DeepAI, whoever you use, tell me on social media today, on Twitter, how many times has Donald Trump's dog been mentioned and which name has been mentioned the most? Now, for me, in a real kind of like fun, quirky way, I'm using AI to like help me be informed from a meme trading capacity. But actually, from a TA perspective, let's come away from meme coins and look at Bitcoin. It brings you great information and data, and it's going to be interesting. We see huge corporations now entering, the digital asset space for the first time, very often when we look at the way they traditionally invest, other people's funds, because these are huge corporations and investment arms, they would use AI in the stock market. Let's be totally honest with you. For when it comes to stop losses, when it comes to taking those profits, many would argue this was the first gen of AI in its simplest form. Put in a data set of criteria. When something automatically hits, it makes that transaction for you. But actually, now they're using it for analysis, and when that happens, more so from these big giants, from a Web3 perspective, it's going to be super, super interesting. I think it's going to be super interesting because all of this, the beautiful thing here is it's on chain. Those on chain analytics and transparency bring a new layer to this AI generation and automation. And frankly, what comes next, I don't know. I don't have the answers to, but I'm excited by the concept of what that means.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with what has been just said, and I do hope that the next time we meet here, this will still be a real Jamie, not the AI one. And yeah, so this brings us great facilities for analysis and taking a part of the job, but hopefully human beings will not be replaced completely by AI. So this is what we came up here. We discuss all the major trends of this year, and the question would be, if you had to pick one trend from 2025 that will define 2026, what would it be? I guess I know what you're gonna say, but we'll be curious to listen.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have to let me know at the end. Is it what you expected? So I think that 2026 will be the year that crypto actually moves from a category to more of a background rail. Now, listen, let's look about it. Let's get into it a bit deeper. Now, the numbers are pretty telling. Now, RWAs, they crossed $30 billion, and stablecoins, they passed Visa's volume. We spoke about this a little bit earlier. Now, mainstream apps like Grab, PayPal, and Stripe are all integrating stable coins into their flows directly. Now, as a result, users, they don't think in chains anymore. They think about outcomes. They think about, hey, Max, how am I sending you money? How am I earning more on my USD? How am I saving or investing for the first time? And this is the clearest signal. Now, users are coming to wallets for utility now, whether that be payments, yield, RWAs, remittances. And this is creating a behavioral shift in the way in which we not only see wallets, but we interact with them. Now, the next wave of apps will not see themselves as Web3. I think that Web3 maybe will become a dinosaur term in the future. They will simply deliver global, instant, borderless finance, where actually the blockchain sits behind it. It's like sending a text message, Max. If I want to send you a text message, no matter where you are in the world, I'm putting the message in, I'm clicking send. When we can get to the simplicity of that in wallet, which I believe now we are very, very, very close to, users will come. And this is really my opinion when it comes to traditional barriers of entry. Forget about the TradFi space. Let's focus on ourselves. Let's make the best applications from a user's perspective to now interact with amazing, traditionally kind of overlooked services. And I say overlooked because access to those services is overlooked. If I'm in Turkey, I'm in Dubai, I'm in Egypt, I'm in Taiwan, I'm in any country in the world, I now have access to these services. Whereas traditionally, maybe from a Web2 perspective, as a bank user, it may have not been the case. And this is in major cities around the world. The fact is, Max, there are people in London right now who do not have access to bank accounts. We're not talking about really remote areas of the world in some continents. We are talking about major cities around the world. The term is not unbanked, it's underbanked. And now I believe that wallets are giving people options and banking them in creative ways, showing them there are alternatives. If you have a smartphone, you no longer need to feel underbanked.
Wow, sounds like a great mission, helping those people in London also, because everyone is speaking about emerging countries and stuff. And yes, there is also for sure a big audience that is just willing to have access to commerce worldwide. And the utility you mentioned is for sure the key thing that people are looking for when choosing a wallet. And yeah, that's really the thing you should put on the first place. And yeah, discussing the trends is great, and I think we can keep it up going and going. But for today, that's actually it. What was prepared to keep also audience with us, and of course, the final part. As I said, still a little bit early for New Year's wishes, but some piece of advice would be right on time, especially for those people maybe who like starting new life from Mondays, from New Year's, and stuff like this. Anything you would like to address directly to the audience, Jamie? Please go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for Christmas this year and the new year. This year, I actually had a baby. I had a little girl. Well,
Oh,
I didn't. My
wow.
wife had it, but I had my first child, which is awesome. So it's a very special time of the year. But for me, Christmas and this area of the year has always been a great time for reflection and to get ready for the year ahead. And I think it's super important to do that, no matter in which walk of life or what your beliefs are. I always think when you start a new chapter, you should always consider what went well and not so well in the past. Now, if there's one thing in 2025 that was proved, crypto is no longer just a niche. It's a new operating system for money. Let's start with what actually works. Stable coins, they work. Gas-free transactions, payments, and on-chain dollars that move instantly. They're already better than bank rails. Let's be super confident in the products that we have. In everyday ways, whether that's sending, spending, or earning, the learning curve, frankly, disappears. We provide better alternatives. Now, don't chase noise. Focus on how liquidity moves. Focus on user behavior shifting to real world utility. Now, understand that flows, they beat timings of cycles every single time. So, learning how the smart money, in fact, any money these days, is actually moving. If I had to have a closing thought, it would be 2026, it will belong to users and builders who treat crypto as everyday finance. It's not a gamble, it's not a trend, but it's actually better financial systems. We look forward to continuing to build them, working with partners and builders, and delivering our users the best products available on the market.
Wow, what an encouraging and positive ending. Actually, as always, some might say that this is a part of your job or as a CMO being so positive and confident, but I would say that it's something here and here in the mindset, and it's really visible. And yeah, the best ending I could ever wish for the first episode after a short break. Hopefully, everyone enjoyed it. I did. And thank you very much, Jamie, for joining us today.
No, Max, thank you. And I think I just want to give a big shout out to your community and to you. I think it's rare now that you get such a platform to be able to just come and talk. Listen, I've high energy. Everything I do, I think I'm like an ADHD like puppy. I just run around, put 100% into everything. Like, do not kind of like misinterpret this for like a cheap show. For me, when I talk about something and the organization talks about something, we're 100% in. You can't just dip your toe into the things that we talk about here. It's all in or not in. And as an organization, as a culture, we have that mentality. We always have a startup mentality. And that startup mentality is about hunger, desire, wanting to execute. And I think I cannot wait. Hopefully, next time we talk, Max, we're going to have a hell of a lot more in terms of product to discuss. I think since the last time we spoke, we did a full rebrand, and we've got so many more things upcoming. Yeah, it's always a pleasure, and you do a fantastic job. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jamie. What a pleasure. And yeah, our community addressing to you. So, guys, stay tuned. Follow Jamie, follow Bitget Wallet, and stay tuned. Listen to what this positive gentleman just said. And yeah, don't chase the noise. Be safe. See you in more episodes. So, bye bye, everyone.
Bye bye, everyone. Thank you.